Wednesday stream. Once again, we are broadcasting live for the power of StreamYards. That's right. If you haven't used StreamYards before, it's a great new program that allows us to do these multi-streams up to 6 people at a time. So if you want to get in, join us on our Discord channel. Our Discord channel can be found at this channel right here. And if you come on in, join us, have some fun, let's chat, You could also join the other people that are part of our crew that join us all the time when we go live. I hope to have more people come on today. I know it's the starting of a new week, so everybody's like working. They're all working for the weekend. Some of our friends over in the States are dealing with the hurricane. And if you're one of the people that's in the hurricane zones, hopefully you're doing well. And hopefully my voice is reaching out and saying, hey, let's get your mind off of that and let's talk 3D printing. So hopefully we can get some people in here and we can start chatting. If no one shows up, then this will be a fast stream. Simple as that. Yeah, I almost didn't do the stream today. Felt when I got up this morning like I was going to do it. I went, you know what? Though I've been doing this now for the last couple of weeks. I should do this. I should get up, and just get this done. Get it for everyone out here. So if you're wondering why I'm doing it today, that's the reason why. So hang on a second here. I'll turn that off before it goes off. Don't need any good old YouTube saying, hey, we heard that. Flagged. You're demonetized. Because once I get monetized and I get the 1,000 subs, I will be pushing this out as a full thing and see what happens. Now I know a lot of my viewership is probably at work and probably swamped up to their past their eyeballs with work, so I'm not surprised if a lot of people don't log in. But then again, if you guys do log in, that's great. And if you're watching this after the fact, we do this at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you're not sure what that is for your area? Go ahead, let me know, and show you guys what I'm working on right now. So, let's cut to share my screen here with you guys. So right now I'm just working on a print of this. This is a can crusher. Now, you're probably going, why am I building a can crusher? Well, there's a little bit of story behind this. So, myself, I can take a can and just go crunch. But I'm looking for a better way that I'm not trying to crunch it and, cut my hands on something or something like that. So, I found this design on Thingiverse and I went, my mini factory, I should say. And I said, hey, I will print it, Oh, that's interesting. I am not seeing my comments yet. I can see you guys are chatting in the YouTube space. Give me 1 second here. I do apologize. Let me mute myself there. Yeah, so hey guys, how you all doing? Let me go to live chat mode and let me pop out this chat. That's weird. Okay. So we found a bug. Seems like StreamYard is not picking up the YouTube stream. Interesting. I'll have to send this screenshot off to them and say, hey guys, I had a problem when I was using StreamYard yesterday or today. Whenever I get a chance to send off this file. But yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so yeah, throw this up. Throw it back down. Let's make a copy and paste of this so I can send this off to StreamYard. That's why I was having time typing to you guys. Sorry about that. I do apologize. I know there's no apologizing in YouTube land. I get that. But still, this is a bug. PNT. Use good old paint when you have to do stuff. And go Control V. And go save. Save this as whatever in pictures. Let's call it screen grab. Let's call it screen. Call it screen problem. Save. There we go. So I'll get that all edited and send that off to them. But yeah, I had no view of my chat, so I'm gonna say hi to you all. There we go. So yeah, so why am I building a can crusher? Back to the source spot. Well, the Ender 3 is going to be printing one part. And I'm going to be printing the other part on the other printer. Why am I doing that? Even though they're different size beds, just to see what works better. No, I can now see you, Raymond. See how long it's going to take on the Ender 3 to print. I think it's like 12 hours. Only 4 hours? That's a big difference. On a CR10, it said 12 hours. On this, it says only 4 hours. Interesting. Huh. I'm glad you asked. I'm using 3.6 because I'm not going to go over to 4 because I'm not happy with the way 4 looks. I'm not convinced that 4 is the best thing going right now. I am actually looking at dumping Cura completely out of my list until I get more comfortable with using Prusa Slicer. I'm still using Cura to get used to until I'm comfortable with the Prusa Slicer. Once I'm comfortable with Prusa Slicer 2.0, I'll be moving completely to the Slicer. Reason for that is that why I haven't moved over is just I can't be bothered. Simple as that. It's more of a, I can't be bothered because I don't want to have something happen where I'm stuck again and I should go, and I really should be moving on to Prusa Slicer, but because there's been so many updates to the Prusa Slicer and some issues that I've heard about it, I haven't moved over to it yet. But it seems to be with two machines. It seems to be with Crealities. There was an error with it, dealing with extractions, and there's another problem with it again that came up. But I was like, you know what? I'll just go wait, and then I'll do it. So let's go save to removable drive. There we go. That's going to go in the Ender. Let's go look at the other parts. Let's go move to CR10. We're going to delete this part out of there, and we are going to bring in the other part. The can crusher bottom. Now, what's really funny about these files are cut terribly. The guy just pushed them up. Don't look at the way that they were set up. I mean, look at that. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Yeah, cure for the CR10 and Enders. Yeah, I don't blame you. But honestly, I've used Prusa Slicer to slice a Benchy just to test it, to see if I was okay with it, and it came out better than I've ever seen Kira help me put out one. It just turned out so smooth, so clean, so rigid. I think it was this one. I think I sliced on Prusa Slicer. All I got is a little bit of weirdness on the boat line, but that's all because it's freaking silk PLA. As you can see there's a little bit of weirdness going on there around the side of the bow. But all in all, it turned out gorgeous. I got like one little string right here, this string that popped up, but other than that, Thing turned out perfect. Hey, Derek's on, everybody. Good morning, Derek. How you been doing, my friend? So let's see what this says for the CR10. 3 hours. Okay, so we're gonna change that a little bit because I got it only set for 5. I set this for 10. Give it a little bit more heft. So this is 3 lines on the bottom, 3 lines on top. 4 point about 5 hours. That's why I figured as much. Let's get these on the slicers and get this printed. I have to grab the SD card. Talk among yourselves. Hopefully, you guys don't get in any trouble while I'm gone. Sorry about that. So here's the thin disk is for that Ender. I believe this has the Ender files on it. Let's have a look here. These are old 16 gig SD cards I had kicking around. Yeah, I should buy some 10 gig SDs. I'm sorry, some 4 or 2, but I can't find micro SDs at 2 or 4. Well, I can find them at 16 now, which is really a pain in the butt because if I want the cards to get damaged or I don't care about the cards, let me just double check this card is the right card. I think it is. G. Yeah, these are all CR10 prints. Okay. So, what's that one then? Have fun at work, Raymond. Thanks for dropping drop it in. I hate that. When you have something that comes up and you're just like phlegm and ugh. And you start coughing on your own, Ugh. So we're going to throw these in the CR10 and on the Ender 3. Now, the sad thing about an Ender 3 is that it has the better power supply, so which is 24 volts, which means it can run faster. A CR10, on the other hand, only is 12 volts and takes forever for it to heat up. I'm lucky. My CR10 actually came with a insulated bed, so I can it heats up a little bit faster than most CR10s. Usually about 2-3 minutes it takes. With a 12 volt, it's like night and day. It's like turn it on within 10 seconds, it's heated up and ready to go. So I'm gonna get these files out to those printers and get them going. I'll be back in a second. Okay, both printers are now running. And we got some stuff going on. So who you have on? Hey, Matt Johnson, thanks for coming in. And let's see what's going on. So I'm going to minimize this here so I don't need that anymore. And I'm going to go back to full screen for you. There we go. Move from stream and exit. Have you tried drying out the filament before printing? Could be just wet, a little wet. That can cause it to string. Now, I've had issue with PLA stringing, so I just don't know if this environment's changed or if it's just a bad batch of plastic I got. But yeah, I got a little bit of stringing when my stuff gets wet though. It really likes to string. Was it the PLA that's stringing, or is it the PETG that's stringing? If it's PETG that's stringing, sometimes what I do is I run my heater I run the bed at normal temperature. But what I've found out is that if I go and I turn up, not the heating, but the what do I do here? Oh, looks like we got Colin on. But give me a second, Colin. I'll bring you in. But yeah, well, you got the bigger nozzle. That's the other thing you got to think about. Do you have your parameters set up for the bigger nozzle? Try a different. I've tried also a different slicer. Go through the areas. But Colin, I'm gonna bring you in right now. What's your idea for stringing on PLA, and have you ever witnessed it before? So, Colin, it's up to you.
Stringing on PLA. Well, stringing in every case can be adjusted by adjusting your print temperatures.
I don't hear him on the microphone.
Hang on.
We'll force everything over to my. Colin?
Like 1 second. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Oh, I haven't made any changes yet. Okay. I guess I don't need to make any.
Nope.
Stringing on PLA. Stringing on PLA is like stringing on anything else. You can adjust it by adjusting temperatures.
Yeah,
and retraction.
He's doing 0.6, so higher retraction.
Oh, that's interesting. So I know this is a relatively stupid question, but on a 0.6 nozzle, do you find that the strings are actually larger, or are they just longer? Thicker or longer? And when I ask things like that, you'd think I'd have chat open, but I don't yet. So give me a second.
Don't worry, I had to find out that StreamYard failed today as showing chat today, so I don't even have access.
Oh yeah, there was somebody having a Walter was having that problem yesterday.
Walter couldn't see his chat yesterday either, eh? StreamYard?
Yeah, last night he did it.
Okay, I'll send that out to Streamlabs and see what they say, because I experienced the same thing too. So,
let's see here.
Good morning, D. How you doing, buddy? Hopefully you're doing well.
And pop out chat. And remember to switch from top chat to live chat.
Yep.
That's better. Okay. And then switch back to the right screen. Okay. Thinner, more wispy. All right. Well, I mean, the two obvious answers, irrespective of your nozzle size, are going to be your retraction settings. That is the length of the retraction and speed of the retraction, and your print temperature. You can, but I think the retractions are going to have more of an impact. I guess because you have a larger nozzle, you have greater volume of material built up in the nozzle. So I guess your retractions would need to be a little marginally longer, because you're effectively reducing pressure on the built up material, so it doesn't get forced out the nozzle and at the same time, reducing temperature reduces the increases the viscosity of the material, so it's less likely to ooze.
That makes sense. I mean,
Um, I mean, but I
I
know those are the generic answers that everyone gives, though. So I don't know what would make it different about having a larger nozzle.
well, you gotta remember it's pushing out more filament than normal. So go through your I would definitely check the retraction more. I'm more aiming on retraction. I know this is gonna sound weird. Try a retraction of 10. I know that sounds like what? Why so much?
Wait, is this Bowden or direct drive?
I believe this is oh yeah, if it's direct drive, then you can only go up to 3.
I
This
wouldn't
is
go
on your
anywhere near
ender, right?
3. I would go like at 1.5 or something at most. I mean, I remember when I switched from a Bowden to no, was it Bowden? No, it was a direct drive. Uh,
Okay, yeah, it's a direct drive. So on his ender 3.
okay.
Try running
Well, first of all,
uh
what's your retraction currently?
yeah, that's a good question. I was gonna say turn the retraction up to 3, but because I'm running the same type, which I will be showing off my direct drive and how I put it together, using an Ender 3.
Well,
So
that's
yeah,
the thing. If you there's
millimeters.
direct
Holy
drive and then
crow,
there's
dude!
direct drive with an E3D nozzle. You can reduce retractions down to almost nothing with an E3D nozzle.
Yeah, even with my E3, I was pushing a 5. I was set for 5 retraction, but everybody said no, put it down to 2 millimeter retraction. You'll see it
Oh,
works
I
so
put
much
it
better.
down to 0.5 and it worked like
Point
a
5.
champ.
Wow. Okay.
Oh yeah. Well, it's a brand new nozzle. I don't know. But
Yeah, I got a 0.23 nozzle sitting here, which I haven't put on the CR10 yet, but that's probably going to go on the E3D CR10 and see what it does. I want a little bit more cleaner detail. And I was told go 2.3 and you'll love it. Okay. Truck drive ring 1.2. Yeah, I would try 1.2. I would also check your fan speed. Make sure your fan speed is up there. Make sure it's cooling properly. That's the best thing to do is check your cooling. See if it's cooling it fast enough for 6 millimeters of filament being oozed out of your nozzle. It's not cooling fast enough and the retraction's not fast enough, then that could cause stringing to happen too.
well, that's the thing. Most people that I'm aware of will be printing PLA with 100% fan. So if you're doing that and you have a larger nozzle, larger print volume, or a larger material volume being printed, so greater speed, you may actually need to get a fan that pushes more air beyond the 100% fan of whatever it is you've got on there now.
Yeah. I would definitely think about changing over to the PET thing. Now, I know the PET thing may not support your direct drive. There are other direct drive mounts out there that might do the trick, but yeah, that would be my best bet. You know, you might have to change that direct drive out and go with another edition of. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, that's what I would do. Whew, volcanoes, those things are so nice. But my God, I got the Super Volcano nozzle just to have a look at it. I couldn't believe how long the threads are. It's like yay fit. It's like this long. The nozzle head.
Wow.
It is ridiculous. But the size of an index finger, I would say, for lengthwise. Almost. Well, maybe about from here to there, I'd say is about how long it was. So yeah, it's fairly long nozzle. But also, you got to remember that filament is traveling through the whole nozzle as it's heating up, so it can actually ooze out properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, double heat blocks, exactly. I just can't run. I would never try running a super volcano on my printer. Just saying.
I wonder if one could machine a heat block whereby instead of having a direct path through the heat block, you have a winding path where I'm thinking out loud here, so this may come out incredibly stupid. Where you effectively compress you have a supervolcano that's this long, right?
Yep.
If you have and you have a direct path from the top through the heat block to the nozzle at the end, right? Direct where the filament path is straight down.
Yep.
Consider having a filament path that winds this way, right? Like you have in a water block for a PC, for example. So you have a longer distance for the melted filament to pass through the heat block and significantly reduced vertical distance. I don't know how one would machine such a thing reliably, though.
I don't think there's a way to machine something that reliable.
I mean, you'd have to do it in two pieces, and then weld it together and bore it out or something. But I don't know.
I don't think
maybe it's not economically feasible.
I think it is feasible, honestly, but but interesting question though. It is. I don't think. I don't think it can be done.
Machining, so
I mean, I did machining when I was in high school.
Machining nerd, Sanjay, in a month or so.
Sanjay is like a total like, whoa, how this guy,
he calls himself a machining nerd, which he is, but he would know why he would be someone who would actually try something like that.
Somehow. Well, I agree with Chris Riley. Chris Riley agrees with me. That won't work.
Okay.
No, it says, just kidding. I have no clue what you're talking about. Morning.
Thank you, Chris. That's very helpful.
And before we get further on, Chris Riley is in the house. No,
speaking of things that won't work, I dealt with a bunch of things that didn't work and made significant progress on my mechanical build. And then I discovered things that wouldn't work with my electrical build. Everyone here had told me that I should not consider using the ANET display with the SKR 1.3 because the pinout was different. Well, I can change a pinout. That's not difficult. But as it turns out, the problem is more significant than that. The controls on the ANET display and control board are analog and operate at 5 volts. So whereas the analog inputs on the SKR board are not 5 volt compliant, apparently. So I would need to, but I don't know why you couldn't just put a resistor on it, but the advice that people had was put a voltage controller on it, a digital voltage control, which is more effort than I want to put in. So I have gone out and bought a Big Tree Tech TFT35 with the touchscreen dealie, and that will be arriving today.
Nice.
So my dream of having the cheapest Prusa Mark III clone is out the window.
I don't, but honestly, I'll say this straight up. Did you really not want touchscreen? I mean, touchscreen is awesome in a
I
lot
have
of
not used
cases.
the touchscreen on a printer. No, that's not true. I had a touchscreen on my first printer and it sucked. I had
Chris Riley, if you want to jump in, I just sent you a link so you can jump in and join us and chat.
No, it wasn't a touchscreen, but it was a color LCD that I thought was a touchscreen. I guess it was what it was. I can't remember now. It was they had several generations of Monoprice Select Mini, which was my first printer. And the first one was black and white. The second one that they replaced the first one arrived DOA. They replaced it with another one with a color screen that said it was a touch screen, but it was not. And it had a dead USB port, and they replaced that. The third one had a dead SD card slot, and at which point I gave up on Monoprice.
Yeah, I like Dee's idea. He said just stick with one of those new 7-inch screens.
A 7-inch screen.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the 7-inch screens. I mean, I know they make them for the likes of the Raspberry Pi, but I've not seen one that would be suitable for an industrial controller like this. The ones I saw have effectively SPI-based equivalent of a equivalent of HDMI input.
No, it might be out there.
Yeah, well, and you go looking in enough hidey holes in China, and you'll find everything you ever wanted.
Then again, it might be on Zaltech's homepage. Did you ever check them?
It could be. Is that what?
I have a feeling that may be where it is.
Okay.
Well, let's go see. Let's go see if Zaltech. Let me see if I can open that up without losing the chat here. Okay. Let's open up Google and have a look. So we're going to do this. Share screen. Share application window. Share. Okay.
All right. Well, anyway, so I had all this good news, and everything started working. So I have lots of mechanical build to do. Oh.
Here they are. Wow, 5 kilo spools now on sale. Holy crow!
I actually had planned on disassembling all of this before the stream just to make it cooler. But basically, what happened here is I need to move my breakfast around here. So this will go here, right where it can get knocked off the table and into my other pile of printed parts. I don't know if that's a good idea, but anyway.
There it is, 7-inch screen right there.
Wow.
$49.99 for Duet 2 32-bit board with 7-inch touchscreen. $149.95.
I haven't graduated to Duet. I mean, Walter's had so many problems with his, and other people have reported lots of problems with theirs. It seems kind of cool, but I just can't justify it. And the closest I'm going to get for a while is the.
I think it comes with the Duet board too.
It does?
Yeah. Duet 2 32-bit board with 7-inch touchscreen. That's why.
For $50. Oh, that's
no, for $149.
That's quite reasonable.
Yeah, $150 for you get Duet board with the monitor.
Oh, $149.
Yeah.
Okay, not 49. That's different.
No, I wouldn't say
And right
149.
now,
That 49.
I've only spent 50. I've got a 3.5 inch touchscreen and an SKR board.
Well, how
So
about this? What if I could tell you I could get it down to 127?
that's still not 50.
Still, it's a savings.
It is.
That's with D's discount that he gets.
That's cool.
So he can give you the discount code and save
Well,
yourself some money.
if Duet wants to persuade me to try one on this new snazzy 32-bit system that I'm doing, then I'm all for it. But
you should call them up and say, "Hey, listen, I'm building a system."
It's going to ERF. I would rather it go to ERF the way I had intended it to go, but I could be persuaded, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There it is. Chris Rice says you should also get the 2660 drivers.
I ended up with the 2130s, I think. What did I end up with? Hang on.
Opening the mystery box.
Tell me. No, not there. Not there.
That's true. You get the drivers with the board. That is true.
I get the 20. These are the 2130s.
2130s. Okay. Yeah, but don't the 2130s have the ability that they can stop without having to use the Z stop now?
They stop without end stops when you're running them with 24 volt, which is why I got them. Because this is going to be an end stopless system. I wouldn't dare do it without a Z sensor, though. Speaking of which, I wanted to look at, and I'm sure Chris has this figured out. I didn't. I was looking at the fan inputs on here. Someone was telling me that I should have gotten 3-pin fans that with an RPM sensor. This doesn't have 3-pin fan.
No, it doesn't.
Ports. Now, I guess I could use some of the extra pins on the auxiliary input to do the auxiliary header here to do fan sensing, but that seems like more effort than I'm willing to put in for RPM sensing. So.
Yeah, plus you're also going to be running 24 volt fans, not the usual 12 volt fans. So
right, and I went looking and fans with RPM sensors are not as easy to come by as you'd think.
No, they're not. The only ones that I found that make those is Duet, is our guys at Nachua. Yeah, I run a Nachua fan on my CR10. Granted, I know a lot of people don't like running. Say shouldn't run them on your hot end, but mine's a 20 by 20. Sorry, mine's 40 by 40 with 20. So it's 40, 40, 40, which means it's 40 millimeters deep. So it will push enough air. But like I said, I'm running a V6, so I'm not too worried about that, but it should keep it cold enough. I've tested it.
See, though,
hot.
Do they have dedicated end stop headers here somewhere? I need to pull up the diagram and check which is the end stop, which are the end stop headers. No, I'm wondering if they have 2 or 3-pin end stop headers. I assume they have 3. I mean, we can allocate 3 pins for it somewhere.
Mm-hmm. My recommendation is if you run into any problems, definitely you're going to have to hit Reddit and hit the Merlin board.
Yeah, no, I was going through some of that documentation the other day.
Yeah,
and having read that documentation, the modifications required to the ANET controller and LCD were not ones that I was particularly.
According to Chris Riley, says the 6 right above the chip are the end stop headers.
6 right above the chip, right here.
Hang on, he's type. I don't know exactly.
Yeah, well, there are only 6 that it could be. That's the only header with 6 pins on it. Everything else has 8 and.
Yeah.
Okay.
So good morning, Techie Dad. How you doing? Thanks for coming on in.
I was relatively impressed with the Big Tree Tech documentation. I mean, it's once you get past the broken English, it's quite thorough.
Well, that's good then, because I'm getting ready to move over to 32-bit. I'm at the point where I'm like, you know what? I like to play around with 32-bit. I like to give a 32-bit a try. I like to get, because with my boards, Marlin doesn't fit nicely, and I'd rather run as vanilla as I can, but with like the 64, if I move up to 32, then I can. But I don't know. I'm still a little hesitant on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not that great with the firmware yet. I'm still programming. I never learned that in high school, so it's one of those things that I really need to sit down and learn.
Firmware is not nearly. They make that the tool chain is really quite self-evident, and the build process is quite convenient. So building firmware is not nearly as arduous as it might be. All right. So what I ended up doing for all of this was, as you recall, last Wednesday, I was dealing with problems with my my X motor holder. Every time I printed this, I slid an M3 square nut into the retaining slot that is associated with this nut here, this bolt here, that is effectively the belt tensioner bolt. What effectively does is it twists the motor out a little bit. That's their belt tensioning solution. But every time I did it, I ended up with these nuts that wouldn't thread properly, and then once you got them to thread, they would just spin in the hole, shredding the plastic. What I found was buying Chinesium nuts off of Amazon is not a winning strategy. So we have these nuts, and here we go. We have these nuts from Amazon, and then we have these nuts from Fastenal. And as it turns out, you can get get nuts off of Amazon for about 4 or 5.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Mr. Buttram. All D's nuts.
Yes,
the way you were saying all these nuts.
Okay, that was not the joke I was making, but sure, we can go with that one.
Poor D.
Poor D. Oh well. These nuts are used to hold shotguns together, whereas these nuts are used to hold printers together.
D says, "Stay away from my nuts."
Anyway,
I knew that was going to come out.
So apparently, this is the first time I've actually bothered with YouTube moderation. I guess all the other streams I've been in, the commenters have been well behaved.
Well, according to Mr. Buttram, he doesn't want you to shuck on D nuts.
Well, I slid these nuts into the slot, and the slot seems happy. So, Anyway, so Fastenal, you end up paying about twice as much, about 10 cents, like 9 cents a nut or something like that, rather than 4 or 5 cents. And you can get, M3 square nuts from China for like 2 or 3 cents a nut. But the tolerances on the Fastenal nuts are significantly better. I mean, this would have saved me like 3 weeks worth of headaches on this print. Had I spent the extra money.
It's gotten better. They're making more D jokes in the chat. And guess what? There we go. It seems like StreamYard must be doing some updates. But right now, D's saying Tanner just jumped in. So good morning to you, Ricky. And he just said, LOL, just turn.
These nuts. So Tanner, just to be clear, I'm making a legitimate comparison between D's nuts and D's nuts. These two nut bags right here. Right. Well, I ended up paying $9.95 for 50 of these, and they have the proper tolerances and they work perfectly. Whereas $9.95 for 100 of these, and they don't have the right tolerances, and they're a pain in the ass to use, and they're just totally unreliable. So, and these specifically say they're good as replacements for the ones supplied by Prusa and fit in within the tolerances of the square nut retention slots on Prusa prints, which is fucking wrong. So, anyway,
we should get the swear jar up, and another dollar ends up in the swear jar.
Well, yeah, we need to put up a little swear jar graphic or something.
We should. I'll have to figure that out.
Yeah. So, having solved that problem, and it got solved on the first try. It was kind of amazing. Having solved that problem, I got my x-axis set up. My next problem was my motor mount. Now I ended up having to print or redesign several parts here. I have a custom x-axis idler because I was too lazy to get the proper length of X rod. So I basically took the Prusa model and punched it all the way through. I guess what I could do is have printed it out this way and given it a larger end cap or something. But anyway, this way I can slide that around. My next problem was the Y rods rod holders I was using were too short for the Y motor holder. Where are my various Y motor holders? Let's see. I got this one, and I got this one, and I got. Where's the other one that failed? I don't know. Anyway, and then I got a couple others, and they all sucked. So I went out to Prusa and got their correct Y motor holder. Notice the big problem with these other ones. They're backwards, which I don't know. Who's got a Mark II or 2.5? Is the motor mounted the other way around? Is that why these other motor holders are supposedly viable options?
Well, there's only one person that can really answer that. Let me zoom you in so we can have a better look at those. Okay, can you show those again? So which one's the one that Prusa sent you, and which one is the one that the other print? Yeah, yes, the MK2 is in reverse according to Joe Prince.
Okay, so anyway, so everyone who has their models out there for what they claim is a Mark III Bear build are basically using modified Mark II Bear parts. So the Y motor holders they supply are all backwards. So I went out and I designed my own new custom Bear Y motor holder. That's significantly smaller, lighter, and less material than all the other ones out there. So did that. Then did my own Y rod holders. All of these will be on Thingiverse at some point. I have, if you look up the user HillCT on Thingiverse, not Thing, well, yeah, it'll be on Thingiverse as well. But right now, I have an empty repository on GitHub under the user HillCT. It is the repository is going to be called Prusa-ish-bear.
Prusa-ish-bear.
Prusa-ish-bear, yeah. And so that's where these three new components are going to go when I get a chance.
Yeah, according to Joe Prince, he said he put his up on my mini factory, but they're for 30 by 30 extrusion point. So
yeah, well, I looked at every last one of them, including Joe's.
Okay. Make sure that when you post it, you gotta put down that this is for a T.
Actually, so no, this one is specifically the only thing that's for a T slot versus V slot is if you've got something that goes over the edge, it has to. It only comes into play when you're dealing with things that go over around the corner of an extrusion, because that's where the differential is. In the case of T slot versus V slot here, the only issue is whether or not you've accommodated the extra millimeter, actually 0.75 millimeters in between the two slot bumps. If you
okay,
know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I've accommodated that on this. This should work with both T slot and V slot.
Then you should put that down as a as an option that people know.
Well,
hey,
I need to have someone test that for me, so I'll post it in Discord or something for someone to print, and they can check it out and just confirm it before I post anything like that. Anyway, so having done all of that, I came across this, which is profoundly cool. I scavenged for a halfway decent alignment tool, and all the alignment tools that I found, went from here to here. They were basically things that fit into the slot and measured to where the rod was supposed to be, which is dependent on the size of your frame. Whereas what you actually need is something that tells you whether you have the proper width of between your rods when you do this kind of assembly. So I did that, and then on top of that, ended up marking this, and I needed to design a new one of these with the marking printed into it as like an engraving. You can see where the center mark, you probably can't see it, but there is a center mark right here on the print.
I can see it.
And what this tells us is my belt is off to the right by 2.5 millimeters.
Okay.
So what I ended up doing is I ended up reprinting all these parts once I got them all sorted out. So now I have all of my parts in my wonderful Alien 3D Hertz metallic rose filament, and so that's what I'm doing. I'm going to swap all those parts out today and make sure I get this thing mounted correctly. That's the goal. But to have a thing, I'm going to redesign this measuring tool, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it 2 marks to indicate either side of the belt, and then give it a center mark on the opposite side indicating the actual center, so that if you're trying to align it with a rod or something other than a lead screw or something other than a belt, then you can do that too.
Sounds like you're going to be building your own bear kit toolkit for the ANET A8.
Sorry?
Sounds like you're building your own toolkit for the ANET A8.
Yes. Well, so that's the other thing, right? This is all ANET A8 parts. This is the ANET A8 frame, which is clearly not the Prusa frame, which is why we have this bit of rod sticking out. What you'll see is the bare parts. Where are bare parts? Did I toss them? I think I may have tossed them. The ANET bare parts, the X-axis parts, are actually longer, and they conceal this extra bit of rod. But this is the ANET frame. I'm not getting any less available print width. What I'm doing is I have less concealment within the X end holders because the holders themselves are physically smaller, narrower. So yes, I will probably be publishing it as a full Prusa-ish bear kit using ANET parts. That's my goal. I want to be able to buy an ANET kit and print these parts and build a Prusa bear. That's my objective. Because it doesn't get cheaper than that, right?
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
I gotta go check on some prints. I'll be right back. I can hear my printers going crazy.
All right. So the other thing that I found out here is this distance. This distance. These distances. This distance is 46.5 millimeters. So as long as I get that distance right when I do the switching of parts, I can get the rest of this all lined up without a problem. So, and I guess I should point out the reason that I ended up printing new Y rod holders at this reduced height was so that I could more effectively match up the Y belt alignment, so we don't have a U shape in the belt path. Because in the real Prusa bear, they assume you have a frame that's a little bit longer, and the rods extend from end to end to the interior diameter, not diameter, interior dimensions of the belt, or of the frame. Interior dimensions of the frame. They hang down within the frame, thereby lowering the bed and the Y belt holder on the bed, keeping the Y belt alignment good in that context. So I had to tweak that a little bit. I flipped the bare Y belt idler upside down to raise it up, and the motor holder is really the only way the motor holder could be. I guess I could raise it up a little bit, but if I raised it up a little bit, then I'd be concerned about the motor holder itself coming into contact with the bed surface or at least the bed heating component, such that you wouldn't get full motion. So there's a tolerance of about 2 millimeters there, which should be fine. All right. Let us get some of this stuff done. How do you plan on keeping the X idler from twisting since it looks supported from the end of the since it loses its support from the end of the rod? X idler from twisting. The X idler from twisting. Why would the X idler twist? I'm not sure I understand in what dimension, in what orientation are you expecting the X idler to twist? Do you mean like this way, as in it moves further in on the top rod and out on the bottom rod or something? You mean the idler? Do you mean the idler housing or the idler itself? The idler itself is affixed within.
That was a spectacular fail on my part.
There we go. Am I back? Okay.
Yeah, you're back.
I was trying to answer Joe's question about the idler twisting. I'm still not clear on in what orientation the idler would twist. Z twist. Z
Not
twist.
sure. What do you mean by that?
You mean the directionality of the Z belt with regard to the way that Prusa does their belt tensioning? That was something we discussed previously, but I don't think that's what you're asking. It would because the belt center line is outside of the Z rod center line. No, it's not. So the belt idler is right here. There's a bolt going through right behind the this Z rod. So it's not outside the Z center line at all.
He's saying without the end of the rod supported to the Z idler, will it pull in with the belt tensioner?
And loosen the belt tension. Yeah, I thought about that. It's very tightly press fit. I mean, you can take a hammer to this thing and loosen it up a little bit, but it's not something that would be impacted by a reasonable belt tension, I don't think. And if it is, then I will redesign it and add a cap over here that gives us the full rod enclosure. It's something I thought about doing that full rod enclosure first, but I want to make sure this thing works before the rest of the thing works before I start debugging it at that level. It is a consideration, but I don't think it's going to be a significant problem. Yeah, I mean, it should be reasonable. I have a a bit of a concern because I didn't fully read the Marlin documentation with regard to the Big Tree Tech TFT 3.5. I wonder if it only works with SmoothieWare or some such other irritating thing. But yeah, that as you say, that was one of my few concerns uh, with the mechanical build. Once I got around the stupid fastener problem and got my parts designed properly. But the electrical, I don't know. We'll see how that turns out. What did I do here today? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So yeah, hopefully I will have the mechanical build done by either today or this week. And although I have to go at 2, I've got another conference call I need to be on. But I will have the touchscreen in hand by tonight, and hopefully I'll be able to start the electrical build at that point. Yeah. Come on, stupid T-Nut. Have a good one, Dave. I don't recall where D said he was located. Georgia, was it? Obviously somewhere in the hurricane path. All right. Where is the caliper? Zero. Come on, zero. You may want to zero up for me. Okay. What is the problem here? Okay. You can't really do it that way. Okay. Ah, damn it. Oh, that's irritating. I have put this on backwards, where backwards is only with the ugly side out because this print is slightly imperfect. Josh would be very unhappy with me if I did that, so let's go with the nice looking side out. There we go. Okay. Oh, hey, John. How's it going? We did miss you. We were discussing D's nuts the whole time. Speaking of which, D's tea nuts are Chinesium, and they have worked out quite well.
So the guys jumping in and out here.
How goes your print?
It's not going well. I have a leveling issue going on right now. For some strange reason, the first print came out great, and then all of a sudden it had a layer shift. So I reset it, ready to go print again, and nothing but leveling issues. So now filament won't stay on there properly.
I've discovered a problem with my strategy.
You're flawed?
Yes, my strategy is flawed.
What'd you do?
Well, I install. Well, I have to uninstall that anyway. So let me uninstall that right quick before I. Okay, so I installed everything and test fit everything with PLA parts before I printed um, the Alien 3D Hertz PETG parts, and I installed the power supply, which fits perfectly without the use of the. Well, that's no good. Here we go. Without the use of the lower bare power supply offset bracket. They have an offset bracket that apparently is supposed to go in the inner corner of the frame. Now you can see in the inner corners of my frame, I'm using aluminum or zinc L brackets.
Mhm.
And so you can't use that power supply bracket. The end result is in my power supply, I can only install one of the two screws for the lower mount point, but I can do so directly with the Prusa mount rather than dealing with the bare extra component. Okay, there's my T-nut.
So according to John Mack, he says, "What's the difference between the AM8 and bear? I can't convert my country bow to plastic bear."
Well, the bear is denoted by being the bear kit was always a Prusa kit, whereas the AM8 is an ANET based aluminum frame kit. So I'm doing a Prusa-ish bear using AM8 parts. So I'm going to make mine entirely Prusa-like. It's going to have a Prusa extruder assembly. It's going to have a Prusa-style bed. It's going to be 24 volt. There's also going to be 32-bit, which is going to be cool. But the upshot here is mine will not be a Prusa bear, but a Prusa-ish bear. That is all. It's just a naming thing. The
Are you
AMA.
gonna bring your Prusa with you too?
What?
Are you gonna bring your Prusa there too?
Am I going to bring it? No, probably not. Just because I don't feel like.
And here, I thought you would bring your Prusa so Joseph Prusa can sign it for you.
Oh, is he going to be there?
According to what I've been reading, yes, he's going to be there.
I guess I should bring it then.
Yeah. In case something goes wrong, then you can print with a printer that you know is reliable.
You think maybe I could just disassemble it and bring the frame?
You might.
I'll have to send him an email and say, hey, if I show up with a Prusa frame, will you sign it for me? What I should do is I should put the Prusa bed on this, the Prusa.
Tech Daddy. Sorry, Techie Dad, I should say. What are you running for your recommend tools for designing a fan part cooling? I'm struggling with one with you're struggling in Fusion. Okay, never mind. I just downloaded the Pet Fang personally myself. I like the Pet Fang. It cools properly. Seems to do what I needed to do. But I mean, if you are running just, I would look around because there are Thingiverse add-ons that will help you do it.
There are huge numbers of of fan. That's like the basic, not only the basic, the first mod that everyone makes, but the first design that a lot of people do of
The
their
fan
own
duct, really?
mods.
My first design was trying to figure out how to do keyholes and freaking how to do like a hole in a print so I could hang it. That was my first thing I tried
My
to
first
learn.
design was I was using. Do you remember the Archer kit of soldering tools with brushes and
Yeah, I remember those little kits that used to come out. Yeah,
that were yellow with the yellow plastic handles?
mine were green, but yeah, they sound similar to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was using those tools to deal with my prints. To clean. I was using particularly the brush that came in that kit because it was a steel brush to clean my print nozzle.
Oh, okay.
And the plastic handle broke. And I said, this is unacceptable. So the first thing I designed ever, my first design, and it's up on Thingiverse, is a replacement handle for the Archer tools.
Cool.
Where do I have? Somewhere I have the one that I did. It was quite easy. It was just a hexagon extruded to the proper length with some holes in the ends. And then I went and printed Archer on it because I'm obnoxious.
This is my first design. I basically made this plaque just for fun.
Oh, I guess I should turn
And
my
that's
camera so
the
people see
keyhole
what
I
I'm
made for
doing.
it.
Where's the thing that I'm working on? There we go. Am I doing this right? Yeah, okay.
Just for fun. So, John Mack. So basically, it's an AM8 with Prusa parts.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why it is the Prusa-ish bear.
There you go, John Mack. Maybe you should make the the Prusa like AM8 out of one of yours and make it 3D printed parts. And put an SKR 32-bit board in there. Add touchscreen.
What, are you encouraging John Mack to outdo me on and show up at the same earth with the and just outdo me in a shorter period of time?
No, I'm just giving you
Because
an
that's what we
idea
did
for
last
Murph.
time. I said, here, you should use the AM8 reinforced kit because it looks slightly cooler. It has neater angles on the parts. So he showed up with a fully 3D printed one with the AM8 reinforced parts, which was basically what I did. But his looked cooler because he had RGB fans.
Well, he said his would be a downgrade.
How so?
I don't know. I don't think I can improve the print on a Prusa.
Oh, so that's the thing. I guess I didn't. No, I didn't have the Prusa style extruder assembly when I did my when I went to Earth. But immediately after Earth, I installed on my AM8. And John, you might want to do this. Is probably the one upgrade you could do to that system. Is print a Prusa style extruder assembly. Hang on, Prusa style extruder assembly. This is with all AM8 parts except for the E3D. And see, ain't it? Anyway, I have on my Thingiverse the instructions for how to do this. with
Oh, brother.
some parts that I made and some parts that others have made, but with instruction on how to get it all together and get the right parts in combination. But that was the single upgrade that made the biggest difference on my AM8.
Well, they should. Well, right now, Mr. Butcham just said he should that the new name should be AMAK8 AMAC.
Yeah, that'll work.
Because John Mack's last name is Mac. Yeah. I can call it my AP.
You have once again over-explained, sir.
Very.
You must resist the urge to
Hey, I'm just replying I'm just letting you know what the. Hey, I don't know if you're watching chat, so that's why I'm reading it out to you. And because StreamYard turned off my chat option that I can put it in the screen, that doesn't help either, you know?
Yeah, that doesn't help much at all.
Yeah.
All right.
Just sounds better. Just saying.
Yeah, the AMAC8 is kind of cool.
I was going to say, you know, you can call it the AMAC AMAC. I was thinking AMAC 9. You know, K9. Get it? Well, because I guess it doesn't have the same ring. He's not a dog fan.
It is not a Doctor Who thing. You are conflating your two fandoms, sir.
There's the only way we can add a moose into that, you know? The Mac moose.
Oh, yes, it's important to have a moose because Canadian. Moose.
Gummy 8.
Or you could put you could make the thing look all Borgish with all sorts of extra hoses, and you could call it the AMAC hoser.
Yeah, use the hose for all your wiring to go through. Cheap little green hose, you know, that you can buy at freaking buy a dollar store for your garden. Yeah, water cooled. That'd be interesting if someone actually built a water cooled 3D printer. That'd be interesting.
People have.
3D printer is water cooled?
3D sells a water cooling kit. It's meant for things where you have a high temperature enclosure, but you need to actually cool the hot end without cooling the things around the hot end. Or the area around the hot end. All right, so the objective here was, of course, to free up enough space, taking this off so that I can actually measure properly to get the proper positioning.
Yeah, sounds like my printer's going off. I gotta go check
for the back component here.
Heat it up, ready to go again.
I think my caliper is dying. I have not zeroed this, but at least I didn't move it. So it's tightened in, so it should be fine. Still irritating. All right. Front right is fully tightened. Back right is tightened with only one screw, and the other two are going to be loose. and I'm going to use the frame, the bed itself, bed assembly itself, to align the front and back left, and then we will use that positioning to align the motor holder and what do I want to do here? Let's do it this way. That positioning to align the motor holder and idler. Why idler?
After all that muss and fuss, it's now working now. Yay.
Cool. What are you printing, by the way?
The can crusher. It's a 2 parts being printed on 2 different printers. One is printing the can part. The other part is printing the compressor part that presses on it. So you can compress cans easier. So I'm not filling up my garbage cans so much of.
So can crushers are an interesting thing. I remember getting one in the late 80s. It was a steel mechanical one. And I was living in Connecticut at the time, where you had a can return for refund. The return policy was the can could not be crushed.
Oh, interesting.
So I gave it to a friend in New York, where their can return policy is their can must be crushed.
Ah.
And now I live in North Carolina, where there's no can or bottle refund or return mechanism at all. I mean, there's required recycling, but there's no deposit.
Yeah, that's what we have here. We have just recycling only, except for beer cans and beer bottles.
Style that they figure people have evolved long enough that they should just recycle out of habit and not expect to get money.
Out here we have recycling. So with cans and such, they don't care if they're crushed or not. Beer cans and beer bottles, they want you to take those back to the beer store for a refund. It's like 5 cents on the can, 10 cents.
Oh, they do have a refund on beer. Interesting, because we don't have a deposit on wine and beer here.
Yeah, here we got the wine and beer deposits. So, you just take it over to your local LCBO, to your local, trash place, to your local like beer store, which is something that we have here in Ontario. Is a bunch of beer companies made the beer store a way that they can monitor and make sure that alcohol doesn't end up in minors' hands, which I still agree with 100%.
My recollection here is that liquor stores are not state owned in Toronto, right?
Pardon me?
Liquor stores are not state owned there, right?
They are kind of state owned.
But you said that it's a consortium of beer vendors.
Yeah, so the beer store was actually is controlled by Labatt's, Molson, which is now Molson Canadian, Cooler. They're owned by the major beer companies, and they run that beer. They run the beer store, with association with the Ontario government. Now the Ontario government decided, well, we should have beer in all convenience stores, in all regular stores. So now we got this other. Now the beer store is TO'd because they're taking away business from the beer store, saying the beer store owns a monopoly. Well, in a lot of sense, the beer store controls how much liquor gets out, because I've seen them deny beer drinkers alcohol when they are specifically drunk. But a regular convenience store is not going to care too much, as they're just
is that not
beer,
a regulation
beer.
There? I mean, it is Canada, I know, so.
Huh?
It is Canada, so maybe that's not a regulation there. In the US, you can't sell liquor to a person who is obviously drunk.
Well, out here, same thing. But if they put in convenience stores, I don't know how many convenience store companies are really going to give a damn. They want the money,
Yeah, well, that is the issue here too.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is I guess the civil offense. No, it's a criminal offense for cashiers to sell to a person who is obviously intoxicated. So,
Gee, that's sick, Mr. Veteran. That they're doing that here in your town. They both pick up trash and recycling at the same truck.
wow, same truck. Okay, but we have two separate pickups that seem to.
Yeah, we got like 4 different trucks we got now. We got one truck that picks up just garbage, one truck that will pick up your leaves and woods. Then there's another truck that picks up our green bin. We also have the green bin system too. So, what's a green
Green
bin?
bin
Or
being recycling. No,
green
blue bin
recycling.
recycling.
So, bones, paper towels, old moldy products, anything that is
Oh, compost.
biodegradable. No,
Effectively compost.
yeah,
Huh.
we're not that far north. D, honestly, we have snow, whippy doo dah. You guys got hurricanes. It'll be crazy to live near a hurricane. Snowstorms are a lot easier to deal with.
Yeah, but you got to realize that people who live near hurricanes have towns that have no idea how to deal with snow.
That's true. That is true.
So from everyone's perspective, everyone else's natural disaster is a bigger disaster.
We know how to deal with snow. We know snow tires, put them on near the winter time, and driving's a snitch. Sure, it's cold. That's about it. You can't wear shorts. Oh well.
All right. What is the
You can't freeze to death unless you're naked outside sleeping on the
this has
grate.
failed. Why has this failed? My alignment is off. How is my alignment off here?
Because you didn't use your tool.
I didn't use the tool, but
That's why your alignment's off.
no, I'm thinking about this. All right, so this was the one that I aligned first, wasn't it?
I don't know. I wasn't watching.
You're right. I didn't use the tool. No, I was using the rods. Let us loosen and figure it out. No, I did skip a step there, didn't I? Having printed the damn thing, you'd think I'd use it.
You have your Richmond Hill compost bin.
What?
Oh man, John Mack, that's funny. Can't believe you still have that. Well, when John Mack moved, they
Oh
packed
yeah,
up
he kept
everything in his
because
house,
he did the corporate move thing, so he got
all the stuff from his house, including his green bin, is from Richmond Hill. Oh my god. According to John Mack, he says the tool is useless.
How do you know the tool is useless?
He says tool is useless. I just have to keep loosening and sliding it back and forth till it's smooth, and then tighten down one screen at a time while sliding.
Yeah, well, so this is the left. What's on the left now? This side was the one that I measured. So I know these positions are correct as far as I can tell. The So that's how I would use the tool. I would use it to align one side while the bed is at the other side and keep it aligned while I tighten it.
According to D, he says hurricanes will not freeze me to death. Yeah, but a hurricane can drown
No,
you
they'll just blow you away.
or drown you.
Well, with D's nuts, maybe he's just into the being blown away.
Oh.
Oh, speaking of things that will not get us demonetized or approaching that line, I had this idea that I was going to clean the earwax out of my my headphone earbuds using a solder sucker on screen. Does that seem like something we want to see?
Probably not. So, you guys got any toy ideas for 3D printing doctor? Oh my god.
Tool is not useless, sir. Tool does an excellent job. At least my tool does an excellent job.
Here you go. This is from John Mack. But I am using sloppy plastic, not rigid, firm and hard.
Well, it depends on the audience, but my audience prefers it firm and hard. So
Oh boy. Okay, guys, we're gonna end the show now. We dived off the deep end. Yay! No, I don't think we have any toys that I. Do you print any toys? I can't think of any toys I've printed
to what?
for 3D printing toys.
I don't know. I printed a puzzle cube. That's sort of vaguely a toy. Where the hell did it go? I have not tried to print a Springo. That seems like more effort than it's worth. Where'd that puzzle cube go?
You know, some people have printed Slinkies. They like those.
No, they're not Slinkies. They're Springos.
Oh, Springos. Okay.
Because Slinky is a copyright thing.
Yeah. I always wanted to print a log. You know what rolls downstairs and over your friend rolls your neighbor's dog? And what do these flexi things mean? Is basically a toy. Flexible prints.
Well, John has a lot of those. Those I thought were pretty cool. I haven't gotten into those, but when you print them, they look pretty cool.
Yeah, I printed this one. This is supposed to be a turtle. It's interesting enough.
This is sort of vaguely a toy.
I didn't want to see if I could print in place, and I could. So then I went printing octopuses. Oh, wow.
This was very cool. This was one of my most successful print-in-place prints. It didn't require any adjustment. I just popped it off the bed, and it worked. It's amazing.
Yeah, Fab 360 has the foldable Android, which is free. I printed that one off. Still haven't got it to fold properly. Every time I fold it, seems to break apart.
Yeah, I can try some of those foldable things. That looks pretty cool.
Yeah, fidget spinners were a big thing back in the day.
I never got into fidget spinners because I couldn't be bothered to buy.
You know what? I would say look at the
608 bearings,
like the octopus or the ones that print in place as a toy, because not only one are they fun to play with after you finish printing with them for adults or kids, but the thing is also with these print in place objects allows you to test your printer to see if you can actually get off.
Oh, this is a toy. I designed this. This.
Oh yeah, that puzzle. Yes,
this was, and I'm kind of. I don't know how to. I feel kind of proud about this, but it reminds me of.
Yeah, this is a print in place octopus.
This reminds me of Mike because the week before, the week or 2 weeks before he passed, he was working on this print, and he gave it to his daughter. I don't know if it was the last thing that he gave her or not, but I think my understanding is she took it to school and it was great fun.
Hey, you know what's another good print I can think of that would be good for a puzzle and challenge for kids? Would be the butterfly box. If you've ever seen that one, 3D
Well,
printing,
there are a bunch of those. The
3D printing box. What's the other puzzle that was out where it forms like a cube? It's like 3 pieces, and as soon as you
yeah,
twist
I
them
got
all
one.
down,
I got that. That was the puzzle cube that I was looking for. It's sitting here somewhere on this table, and I'm not seeing it.
Edge Attack. How you doing, buddy? Mike passed away about when did he pass away? Was it like 3 months now?
Yeah.
Yeah, about 3 to 4 months ago he passed away. We don't know what from. I've heard.
I thought it was a heart attack.
That's what I've heard. I don't know if it was a heart attack. Like, you know what? I haven't talked to
Here's a toy.
to whatever, but yeah. Oh yeah, Squishy Octave with printing
Squishy
TPU.
octopus.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this was the box that you were thinking of. Come on, how do we open this?
Yeah, Mike Wiley. Wiley 3D, as what he was known on here on YouTube.
Here we go. Here's the box.
Yeah, that's the one I have. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Yeah, that was a challenge to put back together once I printed all 3 pieces. Is like putting it together is like,
yeah, the first time it's tough, and then you can do it in like 10 seconds. It's great.
Exactly. It's a nice little thing to try out. You know?
Okay, that is a nice smooth motion right there. All right, so now I've got this marker, and I've got this marked where the
Wiley Coyote Mike. Yeah, that's the one Mike we're talking about.
All right, so at this point, I am going to. What do I need to do? I need a marker, like a dry erase marker. Why do I not?
Oh, you didn't know he passed away? 3D printing doctor. Oh, damn. Sorry, dude. Yeah, I printed your DeLorean. Yeah, I remember him talking about printing the DeLorean. Yeah, he was a good guy. We will all miss him. Trust us.
Yeah. Very nice.
But nothing was better than the Blue Smoke episode that he put out. Him blowing that board the first time he got it.
Oh, I missed that one. I'll have to go check it out.
He got the I forget what was it, MK Gen L board.
Yeah.
MKS Gen L. Hooked it all up, fired it up. First thing that happened, blue smoke.
Nice.
Blue capacitor.
Yeah. Oh, that's irritating. All right, put this on here to hold everything in place. Then we'll slide this over here, and then we will remove this. Oh, the other nice thing about my Y motor mounts, rather than the other ones that look very similar, there are a couple of these bare Y motor mounts out there. Mine are based on the iteration 4 Prusa mounts, so they have a better snap fit. Not that you'd want to print with the things just snap fit, but they snap fit such that you could flip the printer upside down and they wouldn't fall out even without the zip ties, which is kind of cool. All right.
Hey, Zach, Jim, if I'm able to make it, I'll try, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I got lots on my plate this week, so chances of me watching slim to nil, unfortunately, this time around. I try to watch
Like,
it after it replays, but I lose all the fun because, well, when it's talking about the bear, and I don't own a bear or a Prusa, so
I missed this in chat. What Edge of Tech? What are you
Tech is
planning to do?
has Chris Riley, Walter, and Sirigo, and Chris Warlock are going to be on talking about what is better, the Prusa MK3, the Prusa Bear, or the upgrade to MK3S. And have a chance to win yourself a bear frame.
No, that's cool. I don't know how you would. I'm not sure what there is to discuss about which is best. I mean, if you're going to put a more rigid frame on actual Prusa parts, then you're probably doing pretty well. The other thing to keep in mind, though, is that Prusa designs their printers down to a price. The design of the printer is great, but it's cost optimized with regard to the parts supplied. So you could vastly improve a Prusa printer by using the original Prusa design with a more rigid frame like the Bear frame, and then replacing all the Prusa parts with higher quality steppers, higher quality belts, higher quality bearings, and everything else, and you're going to get a higher quality print and printer.
That's always a point.
The Gummy Bear 8.
Yeah. Well, they started saying that John Mack should make his frame out of TPU now. So
actually, I think that is the coolest name I've heard for a printer, the Gummy Bear 8.
Gummy bears bounce. Yeah, I'm not even gonna try it. Look at you guys all stuck with the theme song from Gummy Bears. According to Joe Prince, he says he doesn't like the Z-axis held on to the bracket on the Bear kit.
The Z-axis held onto the bracket.
Yeah.
Why is it that I can't ever translate what Joe's talking about? The Z-axis held onto the bracket.
No, he's saying I don't like the Z-axis is held on to the brackets of the Bear kit.
You mean the tops with the bearings? Yeah, I hate that too. I know it's an option with the Bear kit. It's not a requirement. Is that what you're talking about?
Don't know. It says I speak different. LOL. Well, I speak differently.
Yeah. Edutech, I'll try and be there. What time are you starting? And what time zone are you in? And which chat are we talking about? This is on a Discord voice chat, I guess, is your platform.
6 p.m. Central.
4 p.m. Central. Okay.
No, 6.
So 6 Eastern.
No, that's 6. No, 6 Central, which is
6
9,
Central.
which is
7
8 Eastern. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be there. Send me a message on Discord or something, letting me know which Discord you guys are going to be in for this, because I'm not sure I'm on everybody's Discord.
Well, you're on my Discord, so he'll probably post it on my Edge. Yo, Jim, when you're ready to, when you got the show set up, post it on my, post it on the, you can post it on our Discord group. Just post it in general so everyone sees it. You're allowed to, man. 7 p.m. Eastern is what John Mack's saying it is.
Yes, 7 p.m. Eastern. Yeah. Apparently, I can't do math today.
I thought it was 8. Personally,
Central,
I got it wrong too.
Central is 1 hour, and then there's Mountain, which is 2 hours, I guess, or 1.5 hours. It depends on the time of year or something. I can't remember what the deal is with Mountain Time. And then there are the weirdo time zones that exist only for certain Indian reservations.
Did not know
That's
that.
always fun.
Didn't know there was that was happening.
Yeah, there's a state with 6 different time zones in it.
Ugh. Hate to live in that state.
I forget which one it is, but it's basically there are like 3 different reservations, and one reservation has 4 different time zones. And then there are 2 others or something. I can't remember what the deal is exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
So one of Ricky Tanner's now playing World of Warcraft while he listens to us chat.
So the way we're going to do this is I don't want to scratch up the frame. So I will do this with a dry erase marker. Where do I have a dry erase marker?
Yeah,
I will
so
be
I gotta
right
take
back.
this with me today.
I will
gotta
be right
take
back.
this. And I might just take the octopus here. I haven't decided yet. I don't know if I dropped off an octopus to them yet. I don't think I did. Okay, so octopus is going with me too. Yeah, I go to my local maker place and maker space and drop these things off. He's always looking for new prints, and he says, "If you ever print off anything that's cool, bring it on down." Because he's like, "I don't get to print anymore." He's like, he's so busy there, so it's like, okay, yeah, sure. So I just drop off whatever I printed and made, you know.
All right. So here it is. It's a marker.
Yeah, Newfie time zone. Trust us, in Canada, we make fun of Newfies all the time, but it's more of Newfies that gets his jokes too, and they just laugh at us for being stupid. But yeah, it's all in good fun.
Okay. So here's my line. And that is where the belt is going to go.
You marked it again?
Dry erase marker.
Smart move.
So now it's marked on the frame.
Oh, okay.
So now I can screw the things in and have it look
They
right.
do have their own English language. I swear to I agree with you, John Mack. They do. But they're the best round of people you could ever make fun of, and they enjoy it too. So they all know that, most Canadians can understand their English. It's a brand new version of English. It's actually half Irish, half English. So
And it works even better on this side because
fidget cube spinners? I didn't know that was a thing.
what?
Oh, they are fidget cubes. Interesting.
What?
Fidget cubes.
What about them?
Never knew they actually existed.
Yeah, it was a Kickstarter initially, I think.
Well, they're up on Thingiverse.
Yep.
It was like it's a print in place type of thing.
Yeah. All right. All right. Well, it's actually going to be easier to do. Well, okay. They're marked. Now we can take this off. Come on, off. There we go.
Don't mean to yawn. It's been a long day. So, Colin, what's left for you to do on this printer?
Once I get this thing aligned, then I got to put on my hot end assembly and mount the power supply and mount the electronics. And then later today, I will receive the uh, display. So I need to make sure that the display will actually work with Marlin, which I'm not even sure that it does.
And then you also have the Edutech. You gotta be there too. Talk with them.
Oh, I got to do that. Oh, what you're asking? What am I going to do today? After I finish with the printer?
Yes.
Oh, I have a conference call starting at 2
Okay.
with a client.
But do you think you'll have this built by the end of the week?
I think I will be well into the electronics build by the end of the week.
Okay. So once you've done that, do you hope to have it done by next Wednesday?
I think it'll be ready for testing, or I will be tweaking it by next Wednesday. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was going to say you should videotape it and show it off as you're doing the testing with it, you know?
Yeah, well, I had this idea that I was going to tape this whole build, but I got lazy and I figured I would just wait for these streams and do it here.
I see. Doing it on my channel. Yay.
Yes, which I'm not sure if that's quite what Josh had in mind when he had Alien 3D sponsor the filament, but the filament does look great, and it's worth it. Trick is to be able to get more access to it in the U.S. He's the only one who imports it right now.
Oh, the Hertz one?
Yeah.
When you said Alien Ooze, I didn't know that's his own brand of
Alien Ooze is his own color. I'm not sure who's manufacturing it for him.
IC3D.
IC3D?
Yeah.
It looks pretty nice from the prints that I've seen.
Yeah, I gotta get a sample of that and try it. Because I had nothing but issues with the guys over at IC3D. We could not get that. I could not get that
service type issues.
More of like I couldn't get a consistent print coming off my bed.
Ah.
Like one day it'll come out perfect, and then I'd be print something else, and it just was. It would even with supports, I couldn't even get the supports off without tearing apart the plastic itself of the print. I was just having nothing but tolerance issues with the stuff.
So here's a question.
Sure, shoot.
Shit. I'm losing nuts. We cannot lose these nuts. These nuts are important.
Lose these nuts. That's right. D would be upset if you lost his nuts.
Well, I have no position on D's nuts. I only have a position on my nuts. Okay, so looking at this, you can see that there is a space between the idler and the.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, and the edge here.
Is it worth a washer?
Is it worth redesigning this thing and narrowing that space or not?
I'd say probably not worth it.
Okay. I might do that later on. That I'll keep that in mind for down the road.
So Deary just replied, he says, "Hey, I am, but I still have them."
Another fidget cube found on. Colin is thinking of another. I'm confused. Okay, I'm very confused. Was I thinking of a fidget spinner?
Calling was supposed to be say Colin.
Yes, but was I thinking of a different
one? But not. But those are cool too. So I don't know what he meant by that.
We're talking about the fidget cube. I'm confused.
I think so. I think we were talking about cubes, And you were talking about the one on
Puzzle
Kickstarter.
cubes. Yeah, so there were a couple of different puzzle cubes that we looked at. Which one is the one that's in the link? Because I can't actually click it at the moment.
It is it's a fidget cube.
Oh yeah. That's a whole different thing. That's a interesting little mechanical thing. I think the guys who did the Kickstarter actually tried to pitch it as an ADHD aid or something.
Yeah, it was more for kids with whatever you call it, not ADHD, but what's the other one? Not Asperger's. A form of what do you call it? Shoot, I can't remember the name of it now. What's called? For autistic kids, basically, if I remember correctly. Built in that format. Keep them busy, keep their minds focused or something like that. And that's basically what it was built for. And then it became like an instant success for 1 year.
Okay, this is a motor screw. Gotta keep that clear.
But works well in HD kids too that have attention span deficit disorder, because they can be doing something else while learning and it just automatically helps them focus. I've seen ADHD kids use them a lot. So spending them in classes or learning, and they'll be, either writing down what they just learned or typing in stuff, and then they would go back to spending that again, allowing them to concentrate, I guess. But guys, we're gonna call it an end for today. It's already after 12. And I have stuff I have to get done, including get some work finished out over here. So, Colin, any last words to tell everybody how to find your stuff?
Well, I guess I will start a new stream, and I'm probably going to work on this for another 2 hours.
Okay, so you guys can follow him on his channel.
Yeah, I got it. I will probably do it on using StreamYard. Although I really should do it using Wirecast. Yeah, so I will spin that up momentarily. Give me like 10 minutes to take a quick break and handle some things here, and it'll show up on the channel Hill CT.
Okay, well, let me just copy that information. I will share that with them so they find it on YouTube. The LCT only has 19 videos on it, so if you guys follow the link I am posting right now, that will allow you guys to watch them. There you go. So you guys want to click on that, subscribe already, ring that bell so you know when he goes live. Also, we had Chris Riley put up his Pioneer 3D printer review. So his video's up there.
All right. But yeah, I'll probably start in like 15 minutes after I hop off of here.
Okay.
I gotta take a quick break and deal with some things.
I got some videos I still got to edit, guys, and I'm working on that. One of my videos got wrecked, so I am probably going to have to voice over it because all the audio got scooped. Whatever audio is there, I will keep that audio on there, but I will have to re-record the audio session. So, yay. That's going to be fun. But whatever I can save, I will keep the regular audio in there, and then I will voice over whatever I have to voice over so you guys know what I'm doing and understand what's going on. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, we'll hope to see you next time. So Stay
Thanks
safe
for
out
hanging
there
out,
if you're near
folks.
the hurricane area. And to the rest of us, hopefully we'll see you next Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you, everyone, and have yourselves a great day.
Thanks for hanging out, everybody.